So data and measurement are perhaps the biggest issues facing the industry. There's, more data generated by this industry than ever in the history of the media business. What, in your opinion, needs to change with regard to how the data is used and, what improvements need to be made?
Yes, I think that, first of all, data, we believe, is the most important factor in the advertising system. Aside from, many other important factors, we believe that effective advertising can be done only by use of data. And I think what's interesting over the last few years, you've seen an emergence of data and data technologies that enable delivery and deliverables of very, very effective advertising campaigns using data. The fact that an advertiser can actually find a specific audience online in real time and send them a specific message while they're reading relevant content is extremely powerful. The downside of it are two, I think. One, it's very complicated. And I think that there are many players in the field, and you really have to know what you're doing to actually leverage all this data and all this mess, because it is a mess. And the second thing, I think there are some vendors or some providers who are using data in inappropriate ways.
What advice would you give to a marketer that suddenly finds themselves awash in all of this data about their customers? What kind of advice would you give them to use this data responsibly and effectively and in a way that engages and resonates with their customers?
The major thing for marketers, and we're spending all of our days speaking to them, is to understand what the objective is. So if the objective is to reach audiences, there are two major ways to reach audiences. It's either look at what they're reading right now. So, you're reading an article about fashion in a specific magazine or in a blog or in somewhere else, and to engage with them at that moment, which is, the semantic approach or the contextual approaches to some extent. Or you can use the behavioral approach, which is basically looking at cookies. So you look at cookies and hey, this specific user went to 5 fashion websites in the last month. He is probably a fashion, enthusiast or is interested in fashion. What we're finding is that it's extremely effective to actually look at what people are looking right now, because you know in which context they're around, and basically leverage those key points semantically through the different distribution points that they're out there on the internet.
So our theme this year at MIXX, at the MIXX conference, is Unbound, Everything Everywhere. How does that sort of resonate with you in terms of your vision of where digital marketing is today?
I think it's a great place to be, in which you basically are able to not be standardized in specific sizes or specific banners, which kind of limits the capabilities of creativity of people. So that's definitely one interesting venue. The second venue is really the everywhere. Someone told me last week that a brand came in and told them, what's our strategy for iPad, or what's our strategy for our phones? And it's the wrong question, because it should be, what's the strategy? Now, how do we implement it on iPad, or does it make sense to implement an iPhone? There are different objectives here, but these are not separate mediums. All of it is one connected medium, which I think we'll start seeing TV online and so on. So the theme is definitely the right theme, and I think the uses of data and clean data without privacy concerns will just help the industry grow.